Welcome back. 16 months after the FBI arrested Jeffrey Epstein's longtime confidant and alleged co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, she's going to go on trial tomorrow in Manhattan. Federal prosecutors and Maxwell's lawyers are going to start all that questioning tomorrow. More than 200 New Yorkers are going to be questioned with the attempt to seat 12 of them and 6 alternates. And that could take several days, and it will not be fun for anybody concerned. But for Maxwell, who has now spent 16 months in the federal lockup in Brooklyn, it may at least be a welcome change. That is, if you have read the story in the Daily Mail, a story that she has done in an interview, talking about being served maggot-infested apples and sharing a cell with a rat from an open sewer and swearing off showers because of, quote, creepy guards who stare at her naked. It's pretty much as far removed from Maxwell's former life of private jets and gated mansions as any person could possibly get. And Maxwell got here by allegedly procuring young underage girls for Epstein and his rich and powerful friends. And I did say allegedly. Maxwell faces numerous sex trafficking counts that could send her to prison for 80 years. But for now, she is convicted of nothing. And so now I turn to my experts about what she's saying about her lockup conditions. Stacey Honowitz is the longtime head of the Sex Crimes and Child Abuse Unit for the State Attorney's Office in Broward County, Florida. She's also written several children's books, including My Privates Are Private. Larry Levine is a consultant for people just like Maxwell, headed to jail and unsure of what comes next. Larry served 10 years himself in federal prison, so he knows what he's talking about. He now runs Wall Street Prison Consulting. Welcome to both of you. Okay, Larry, you heard what Ghislaine Maxwell is saying to the Daily Mail. It's horrible, and she's regularly threatened by the guards, and the lights are on 24/7, and she's got eye damage from these fluorescent lights, can't get sleep. The food is rotten. There's no protein. Is she off, or is that pretty much how you'd sum it up?
Well, okay, when I went into custody, I had 20/20 vision myself. I spent almost 2 years at MDC Los Angeles. They wouldn't let me go out and go in general population. They said I was a threat to the institution. Who knows? But the fact is, my eyes went when I was in custody. And when I ended up at a real prison and I was watching a movie, I thought, why is this blurry? It never dawned on me that my eyes had an issue. It was the fluorescent lighting. As far as the food, right now, the BOP, the Federal Bureau of Prisons, they are understaffed all across the country. Food supplies are not getting in. I've got clients at institutions all over the U.S. So what she is saying, it's true to a certain point. I mean, she's in the SHU. She's in the special housing unit. She's not in general population. They keep her lights on 24/7 because the cops, the COs, are going to come by with a flashlight and they're going to shine it in the little the rectangular window on her door. There's no bars or anything. You know, after what happened allegedly to Jeff Epstein, they don't want anything to happen to her. And as far as the showers, I mean, yeah, they will. I don't think they're standing there leering at her. I don't buy that. But I believe that if she's taking maybe a 5-10 minute shower, whatever amount of time they're going to give her, the correctional, it's everywhere. I mean, she's not used to this. I think she's being a crybaby, to be honest with you. She's got to suck it up.
I can imagine that. But here's what she says. She's having trouble speaking to her lawyers. She didn't have a proper desk to work on. They provided her with computers that do not. The change in her life has been so palpable. Stacey, what might be even more concerning than the conditions that she's talking about is work and her mail. Her lawyer's mail, which is supposed to be privileged, has come slit on the bottom with stamps that originally were on it that are no longer on it. So tampered with. That has to be troublesome just from, you know, a perspective of jurisprudence.
Well, Ashley, you know, this is not the first time that she's ever raised these concerns. This is the final article that we're seeing in print, but her lawyers have gone in a couple of times and have raised these issues with the court. They've told the court that they want the ability to have more contact with her. And so all the things that needed to be done had already been brought to the court's attention. Now, with regard to her mail, she has to know that when the mail comes in, it's looked at to make sure that there's nothing in there. That is just protocol. Anybody that will tell you that any contraband is looked for if it's, comes through the mail or if anybody goes to visit, anything like that. So all of these things that she's talking about and that she's raised have come into the courtroom, have been before the court, and now she's finally telling her story so that everybody gets to see it in print. Now, it came out right before jury selection. Are they hoping that people see some of this and there's kind of a sympathy ploy to this? Of course. You can't be, you'd have to be ridiculous not to think that she is trying to get that. On the other hand, is it fair that she's treated maybe differently? Well, of course not. Nobody wants to be treated or, tortured while they're in prison. But like I said, the court was well aware. Her lawyer, she's got fine lawyers, and I know that they've gone before the court. They have put all of these things in motions. They've filed it, and they've asked the court for relief. And thus far, there hasn't been. So the court has heard something.
There hasn't been.
There hasn't been. The court heard something that we don't know about.
She's down 20 pounds, apparently. And for a girl, that's a lot. She's gone gray. I don't suppose that's unusual. You don't get, hair stuff in jail. I want you to see her, though, because we talk about Ghislaine Maxwell so she's like this sort of fantasy character because you just don't see her or hear her. And we found a moment where she was actually interviewed by the Huffington Post. I was shocked when we found this, but here she is talking about this charity that she started called Terramar, helping the oceans to be clean. But take a look. This is Ghislaine Maxwell.
You can't just keep expecting everything to keep going, to the fish to keep breeding and the ocean to keep healthy, because it just doesn't work that way. And I think the ocean is just too big to fail.
Just surprising to kind of see her come to life. But just quickly, I need a fast comment from both of you. Larry, pretrial detainees are innocent, right? They are innocent. They haven't been proven guilty
They are
yet.
innocent.
Shouldn't their treatment be better?
Hold on. Well, let me jump back to the mail. The protocol is if it's legal mail, they have to open it in front of you. So it's not pre-opened, it's not pre-screened. And then they pull the postage stamps off because there's a concern whether or not drugs are going to get into the institution. And the reason why they have her in isolation, she's not like some regular inmate that could just blend into the prison population. Everybody knows who she is. Being a chomo, child molester as they call it, that's like one of the worst crimes, like being an informant. And if they had her in, general population, somebody would kill her. Guaranteed, it would happen.
So last comment, Stacey, and that's this. I think a lot of people who watch this process might understand this question. You can't try Jeffrey Epstein. He's gone. And the prevailing wisdom out there is that someone's got to pay. And I think her lawyers are saying that's what's happening with our client. They're going after her. They're treating her this way because they think someone's got to pay. And that's not fair, they say. What do you say?
Well, of course that's going to be their defense, that she's paying for everything that happened with him. But these victims are going to take the stand and tell you that she was an integral part of trafficking because she's the one that, for lack of a better term, seduced these girls to come into his life. Now she'll say, I didn't know what was going on. But one by one, they are going to take the stand, and they're waiting to see if one of the British victims can come in. And they are going to say that I came to Jeffrey Epstein through Maxwell. I would never have gone to him if it was not for her. So, of course, we are waiting to hear that defense, that the defense is she's taking the blame for him. The prosecution's going to say, no, we finally got her, and she is just as responsible for what went on with the trafficking as Jeffrey Epstein was.
Stacey Honowitz and Larry Levine.
Though, all those other people, hold on, all those other people that were involved in this, it's a conspiracy, so they will draw other people in, and her lawyer is probably working on something called a 5K1, perhaps where she could give substantial assistance to get whatever sentence lowered. Just think of the secrets this woman is hiding.
Oh,
I mean, it's a
I
little
have
late in the
a
game. She should already be cooperating.
No, she's not. She would have cooperated for the last 16 months. Are you kidding me? She's getting ready to go.
She doesn't know that either, what's going on behind the scenes, what she said,
well,
the interviews that she's given. A lot of this stuff nobody knows.